Now, another question that this is a tough one, okay? And you got to answer it as transparently as you want or not answer it. But some of people are accusing you of SEO. Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
if you know what the site enhancement oil, especially
yeah.
with those arms and the triceps. And what's your response to that?
The most transparent answer I can give is
Take a look at your Instagram profile here. All right, let me change this.
brilliant.
We'll do this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is what I saw. This is what everyone has been seeing is your Instagram reels. And so you just posted this one here. So we'll take a look at this one, most recent. So you're 260 here.
Yeah.
One
The
second.
one in the black rest, the ride free rest, that was literally a
Okay.
few hours ago.
Few hours, 260. And like now the crazy thing is you haven't competed yet. You haven't stepped on stage.
Nope. I've not
And,
actually
and
even been to
people
a bodybuilding show.
like and so when I look at your physique, I see you've good balance from the front. You have good quad sweep, crazy arms and delts, good traps. Chest is good. Chest, I think, is a body part that could come up a little bit.
Indeed.
I think you already talked about your calves a little bit.
Yeah.
Most black bodybuilders. That's we got to work on the calf. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, that's the curse.
So
Yeah.
that's the curse. So we got to deal with that. But I just think it's incredible. And so, how? When did you get into bodybuilding? What age did you start really seriously getting into this?
So it's strange. It's been a very slow process in terms of
Yeah,
taking bodybuilding seriously. So obviously, I'm an '80s baby, so I grew up with lots of Arnold Schwarzenegger films. So my favorite film to this day
yeah,
is still Terminator One. Second favorite film is
yeah,
still Terminator Two. So I grew up with that influence, but at the
yeah,
time, had no one to ask about advice. Um, didn't have access to a gym, etc., etc. I probably did a little bit of training. I looked quite athletic by the time I was a teenager. I say athletic. I didn't carry any sort of size at all, but I had decent abs and everything was etched. But obviously, I was still wearing small clothes. I wasn't a big guy as such. And then by the time I was say 20, 21, I started lifting a bit more seriously. I made some fairly decent gains, but nothing anyone would, be bothered about if that makes sense. Uh,
yeah,
Fast forward to about, I'd say I was about 25, 26, stopped training altogether. Then I
yeah,
had my son. Um, then I had my daughter a few years later. I'd probably say this was, yeah, I had my daughter. Then I got into gym again, but again, not too seriously. Wasn't even supplementing, just lifting just for the sake of lifting, not really making any changes. And then, blam, COVID came. Me and my wife were looking at each other bored. I often joke it was either, going crazy at home or finding something to do. So we got some, just like a cheap set of dumbbells and whatnot. We had a bench that, with, skinny arms that it said on the instructions, do not put more than 60 kilo on it, that sort of a setup. And the whole family was out there,
yeah.
we were all eating food, we were barbecuing every day because there was nowhere to go out and eat. So wifey was cooking every day. And then almost by accident, all four of us started looking a lot better. So I thought, okay, let's go with this.
Okay.
So I did an 11-week transformation. Um, I did an 11-week transformation, which was pretty extreme from where I started.
Yeah.
The ending point wasn't amazing, but from where I started in just 11 weeks, it was pretty good. And I thought, do you know what? I've just proved to myself that I can actually do all right with this. So if you imagine from
Yeah.
COVID till now, I'll call it 4 years, I've been, pushing. That's what I was saying. Not incredibly serious. It's still just a hobby. There was
Yeah.
never any sort of dream to go on stage or anything like that. It was more to keep me busy.
Okay. Just kind of recreational fun training.
Purely recreational. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so 2020, what was your weight?
Ooh. It wasn't. I was skinny fat, so that
Yeah.
figure is gonna. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that figure would skew because I had to do a cut and probably drop at least 15 kilo just to get to a starting point and then grow from there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would you say 2020 you were like 230 to,
Oh
or
no,
because
no.
you're
I mean,
260
in
now?
kilos, yeah, in kilos, I was probably about 93 kilos fat. Yeah.
So what is that? Hey, I can never do the conversions. 93 kilos. Uh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
probably 190, something like that. 190.
190 pounds.
Yeah,
Wow.
probably. Yeah.
So you went from
If you times it
190.
by Yeah, if you times 90 by two, you get 180 plus the extra. Yeah, yeah, it's probably like 190, 200, something like that, 205,
Oh,
something like
okay.
that.
I just did the conversion. So 96 kilograms is 211 pounds. So still,
Yeah,
you were like,
yeah,
211 pounds
yeah,
in 2020. And then four
yeah.
or 5 years
I
later,
looked,
you're,
I looked like I didn't train at all. Yeah, just like a normal dad bod, you know,
yeah.
looking fat on holidays,
So,
that sort of
okay.
thing.
Okay. Okay. So that brings me into, okay, what did you do to get from 211 to 260 in 4 years looking like this? And like, what does your diet consist of? Like, how many meals per day are you eating? People want to know how you got,
So
like, you did this
yeah,
transformation.
yeah. So this is going to sound strange. I don't weigh my food.
Yeah.
Naughty, naughty. Even to this
Okay.
day, I don't weigh food. My wife is in charge of most of my food. We eat out quite a bit, but in nice places where the food's cooked properly and it's good quality food. We're not out to having greasy burgers at fast food joints. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, she's responsible for most
Yeah.
of my food. She doesn't weigh anything. She just eyeballs it. She'll usually say to me in the morning, brunch is my big meal before gym. And she'll say, how much of whatever did you take? And I'll say that much. It's just right. You need this much carbs. And again, she just eyeballs it. She knows it. I just smash it down and it
Okay.
works. But yeah, I train around lunchtime, and that allows me to get
Okay.
in 3 meals of carbs. And then the rest of the day, I'm barely eating carbs. I like my rice,
Oh,
I like my sweet potato, and I like my potato. Sorry, my white potato as well. But they're my main sources. I have the
okay.
occasional wet pasta, but it's a little bit funny with the
Okay.
digestion.
Okay. Okay.
But it's
So,
about 6 meals. About 6 meals. Yeah.
6 meals. Okay, so that's good. That's
Yeah.
that's what guy your size should be eating. So that's not an issue. It's not like you're one of those guys that just has a hard time getting the meals down. So that's good. So that contributed to it. What about your training style? Are you like high volume pumper, or are you heavy
Oh,
and kind of low
definitely a
low
pumper.
volume?
Yeah, definitely a pumper. I
Okay.
mean, you can. I don't know if it's obvious from there. I've got quite small joints, so my wrists,
Yeah.
my knees, they're all quite small. I don't think the universe ever intended me to lift heavy weights. That was never going to
Okay.
work. Even my hips. I'm not. If you see me squat, it will just be hilarious. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
But I'm all about lots and lots of volume. So even on a upper body day like back, it's not uncommon for me to go to 25 reps.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
I'm
25.
just
Okay. So
constantly
high
chasing
reps.
power. Yeah, high reps, lots of squeeze,
Yeah.
lots of stretch. Really trying to focus in on how it feels. I don't really chase numbers in that sense. Some days I'll just like today we did shoulders and I was on a machine and I did 2, 3 reps and I said to the wife, put the pin down, 2 or 3 more reps and until we found where I was happy, then I began a proper set. But I won't ever walk into gym and
Yeah.
say, right, this is what I'm doing. It's all based on feel that day.
Okay. So let's say everyone wants to know what you're doing for your arm. So what exercises would you do for an arm day? You go into the
So
gym. What do you start with? What do you finish?
um, I like to start with most of my arm workout is machines now. I used to have really
Okay.
sucky arms, like terrible arms. People
Okay.
imagine, oh, he must have always had great arms. No, my arms were awful. They
Yeah.
were like string.
Wow.
They were like a piece of straw. Um, I found volume
Wow.
works very well with them. When I tried to go heavy, it was just
Okay.
hurting, wrists were achy. But I do like machine stuff. So a lot of it is cable stuff, and particularly for bicep,
Yeah.
I like a lot of machine stuff like preachers, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Preachers. And triceps. What's your go-to tricep exercise? Because everyone, that's one
Yeah,
of the your standout body parts is your triceps.
yeah.
You were training them here, push downs.
So,
What
so
is it?
my number one tricep movement, strangely enough, is a calisthenic movement, and I will
Okay.
approach a bench, put my palms like this, and just close bench like that with body weight. And I'll either push my feet right
Okay.
back if I'm feeling strong, or move them in a lot closer if I'm feeling a little bit weak. But that is my go-to, and you can do them wherever you want. If you know you've got, if you're on holiday and you want to take a photo quickly because the background's nice, go and hide behind someone's car, whack out a quick 20 reps, and then bang,
Yeah.
triceps already.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then legs, we saw from the front, good. Now I can see probably hamstrings. Obviously, you would need to bring those up,
Big
which I
time.
think with your genetics you can do if you just focus on it
Yeah.
more,
There
because you've
has
been
been
casually
some.
kind of doing this in a sense.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there has been some improvement in the last few weeks, and for the first time
Yeah.
ever, I've split legs into 2 days. That was never a thing before.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so yesterday was
Yeah.
the first time, and that was difficult. Just to do hamstrings on its own, completely different level of pain, which I hope will translate into
Yes.
gains.
Oh, definitely. If you haven't been doing that, you definitely need to
Yeah,
have a hamstrings calves day by himself. Yeah, by themselves,
a million percent.
for sure. Yeah. So that's definitely something that you're working on is bringing up the hamstrings. That's about, and then I mean the back. You're posing the back there for a second. Right there. From what I can see, you just need more width to the
Yeah,
back here because you have such dominant shoulders and
yeah,
triceps and obviously biceps. It's
yeah,
just it makes your back not look as big as it could be. You got a
yeah. Makes a
good lat
balance now.
spread. Yeah. So look at how huge the triceps are. So it just you remind me of Ernie Taylor. I don't know if you British
I
bodybuilder.
remember Taylor. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, like you were. And early Ernie Taylor was known for his ridiculous triceps. Now, another question that I'm gonna. This is a tough one. Okay, and you gotta answer it as transparently as you want, or not answer it. But some of people are accusing you of SEO. Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
if you know what the site enhancement oil. Especially
yeah,
with those arms and the triceps. And what's your response to that? Because a lot of bodybuilders you're not the only one. There's lots of pro bodybuilders that
yeah,
get accused of using that stuff, and they say, no, I don't use that. What's
yeah.
your answer to those people asking that question?
The most transparent answer I can give is um, you've you know when you're supplementing, you've got to put the stuff
Yeah.
somewhere, and
Yes.
obviously there are some places which will you're going to have some scar damage, um, some slight swelling, and obviously that's going to have some effect, but
Yeah.
it's not going to turn shitty arms into great arms. But to say that there would
No.
be, but then in terms of just using something like Synthol, nah,
No.
nah, that's not a
Good.
thing. Nah, not over it. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because when I'm seeing you here, you're leaner here. I can see in this video,
yeah,
and everything's moving. You have striations. It just looks like you just have crazy genetics, and kind of like Phil Heath in a sense, where you just have really round muscle bellies. You can see the separation between the bicep and the tricep there. A little bit of the brachialis, a little bit is there. So, and if you got leaner, I think it would show even more.
it does. Yeah, when I'm lean, I
So,
mean, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, for the people that are like, he's shot up with oil, it's all oil in the delts and the arms. I mean, you just have the genetics. You're obviously putting, your shots in there that every bodybuilder has to do and take your enhancements or your PEDs, whatever. And I can't see it being SEO, right? It looks
Mm,
just like you're just doing a normal cycle and you're just putting your shots in there, and then that's pretty much it. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I usually tell people if everyone's arms could look, I'm not going to say like this, like I've got the best arms in the world. I haven't, but if everyone's arms
yeah,
could do that, everybody in the
yeah,
gym would have epic arms. Honestly, it's
yes,
not some kind of magic cheat code.
yeah,
It's not like a Formula One team where they have technology they are not sharing with another Formula One team. It's not. It's not like that.
ex-
It would maybe improve your arms by 5%, but you're not going to turn average arms
yeah,
into great arms. It's not. It's I think it's a bit of a cop out when people just call it call it out
yeah,
straight away. Like, oh, you know, synthol arms, whatever. If that was the case, everyone would
yes.
have epic arms. Everyone.
True, true. Yeah, I agree with that. And then in the quads too, they have separation, and you're not totally leaned out, dieted down
No.
100% here, and you still have good separation and vascularity and everything's there. It's showing through. So I think you have tremendous potential. I know Dennis James was really hyping you up there, and he thinks you can do, very, very well. I do too. Question about the arms too. How have you measured them? How many inches are your arms?
On pump, probably
Yeah.
slightly fatter than I am now. The biggest they've been is 23,
Okay.
and that's a full day of
23
carbs.
inches.
Yeah, that's like deliberately training in the evening, carbing up the whole day. You know, and then going for it, just going for maximum pump. And yeah, they came in at 23.
Yeah, that's big. That because I mean Nick Walker's around the 23, 24 range, and he's one of the, he's
Yeah,
top three in Olympia.
yeah. I think
So that
he's a truly freaky though, truly freaky.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, he
he's
took like
freaky.
crazy. He's a freak. And I mean he's 300 pounds in the off season compared to your two where you're at. But I mean, it's just and you're 5'9". Nick is
Yeah,
5'6", five
7.
seven. So it's just
Yeah,
insane. Yeah, it's just crazy. Um, you know what? So I mean, you got the genetics, okay? You got the shape already. So next step is getting on stage, and I know you alluded to that a little bit on the Menace podcast. What's realistically your goal to compete in your first regional show or pro qualifier to turn pro?
yeah. So at the moment, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone at the moment.
Yeah,
Um, in an ideal world, I would probably prefer to have a full off season for a good year and come back
yeah,
and bring up all of my weaknesses to get them to a point where I'm a lot more presentable. But then the other side of it is
yeah,
saying to me, well, the hype seems to be now, so go with it
yeah.
now. So at the moment, there's a lot of. I mean, I'm going to spend a good uh, 4 to 6 weeks more uh, seeing where I'm at because I do
Hmm.
seem to hyper respond when I make little changes. And even when we was in the mirror today, me and the wife, and we could see some slight
Yeah,
changes. They weren't massive, but even in the last say
yeah.
3 weeks, we can see just tiny stuff here and there that if we can carry that sort of momentum forwards, could we be looking at a show, sort of 2/3 into the year?
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I think what Dennis was alluding to in Milos is like your posing would need some refinement,
Oh, big
obviously,
time,
and
big time. It's very goofy at the
right,
moment.
yeah, yeah, and it's just obviously you're not practicing posing because this is just more of like you're having fun. You love training, you love
Oh,
working
yeah,
out,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just like you weren't taking it serious to the point where like I got to learn all the
yeah,
mandatories and I got to hit it right. So you kind of
yeah,
just were having fun with it, but now people are
yeah,
kind of coming at you like, hey man, you should get on stage and see where you can
yeah,
go with it and not have the pressure. Like, I don't think you need to be putting pressure on yourself that you have to, kill it and
mm,
be this top pro or I don't know. What is your goal? If you're going to get on stage, you're going to commit to this. Where
yeah.
do you see
I mean,
yourself in 2 or 3 years? just maybe try make it to the pro stage, do a show and see how you do, and then walk off into the sunset and be done with it.
I mean, just speaking, I'm quite an obsessive person, and
Okay.
it's it. I don't know how people will take it. The goals I set myself are my goals. How other people choose to measure them is up to me. So you know, you might set yourself a goal that, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna earn more money in 2025. You might say that, for example, and then that figure you reach might be a lot of money to one person, could be peanuts to somebody else. So I've had each year since COVID, I've been setting myself small targets, and I've been gradually meeting them. Some of them I've smashed, some of them I haven't got to yet. And with the
Yeah.
bodybuilding, it was more just about when I look at my photos back, what have I achieved in the photos? It was never really about stage, but I think it's it's got to a point now where it's becoming undeniable that maybe I should really be taking it in that direction.
Yeah.
And obviously, you
Yeah.
can imagine as
I mean,
well, like in my life, it's when I say it's a big upset, I don't mean in a negative term. I just mean in terms of some
mhm.
people have been working towards this for 10, 15, 20 years. Because I haven't worked towards it,
Yes.
it's like driving down the road and then there's a massive car crash, so you have to go this way. But that way is a good route also.
Yeah. Yeah, I like look at your physique. You're like, and you're 43. It's not like you're in your 30s and these are like the Nick Walkers and the Derek Lunsfords. They're in their early 30s. You're 43, but your physique doesn't look like it's been beaten down and it's 43 and it's
Yeah,
near the end of its lifespan for
yeah,
competing. You look very fresh. The full
yeah,
round quads, everything's full and bursting still. So you gotta, yeah, I would say take advantage of this. Go do a
yeah,
regional pro qualifier. You'll you most likely destroy everyone on the show. There's no one that looks like this, and then you get your pro card and just have fun with it. Like your
yeah,
social media is
yeah,
blowing up. Everyone's watching you. Everyone wants to see you get on stage. You're building a good fan base. From a marketing PR standpoint, that's the field I come from. When I see this, I'm like, just you got all the support, and you might get another
yeah,
sponsor. You might get more to hear, like more opportunities. So yeah, I would say, why not? What do you have to lose? No one's
yeah,
gonna fault
yeah,
you for, right? So they know
yeah,
where you came from. You haven't been like these other guys that have been competing in the nationals and they've been trying for 5 years. Then they get the pro card, and they're competing for 4 or 5 years trying to go up the ranks in the pro. You're already there pretty much, and it's not like you're gonna lose anything if you don't do as well as
yeah,
people maybe think you could do. So it's like, let's do it. Let's have, like, you're there
yeah,
already. You're almost ready. It's got to cut down.
yeah, yeah. As long as it keeps feeling fun,
Yeah.
that's it was always about you know the fun.
Yes.
That's what that my approach to things. I mean, one of my other hobbies is I ride motorbikes, and I got myself a
Yes. I
motorbike.
was gonna.
Yeah, that's my motorbike there. It's a Gen 3 Hayabusa. Uh, and
Yeah.
I bought it for me. I was never intending to be the fastest guy on YouTube or the fastest guy on Instagram or compete with guys like More Mafia. It was just for me
Mhm.
to get out of my life on our bikes and
Yeah.
have fun. But like this, it kind of snowballed into this machine, and the bikes as well known amongst bikers as I'm becoming in this scene also. But again, it's
Okay.
it's all just
See,
for fun. Yeah,
for fun. Yeah. So you have that need for adrenaline. That's kind of, so you kind of
yeah,
get that from bodybuilding, and you get that from
yeah. I like
racing
to get
bikes as
zoned
well.
in
So
and have my fun. Yeah, I like to get involved in stuff. Really get tunneled in.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And now if you do, well, you're gonna do a show. I think you've committed that. Can you say here you're going to do a pro qualifier at some point in the future?
At some point in the future, definitely. At some point in the future.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's confirmed. You're gonna do it. People are gonna now be waiting on it. So now you got to follow through on it. It's out there.
yeah. Shot
um,
myself. Yeah.
yeah. So when you get ready for the show, when you finally nail it down, um, are you gonna hire a coach, or are you just gonna do it on your own with your wife?
I think it would be a combination of the two.
You
So
got your wife
my
here.
yeah, that's my wife there. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's my better half. Yeah. So what I would say to people is she is as much a part of my life as anything else. I've
Yeah.
been with her since we were kids. And for me,
Oh wow.
being on the
Okay.
journey, yeah, well, it's 24 years. So
Wow.
that's,
Congratulations.
I've been
Yeah.
with her longer than people I know in the gym,
Yeah.
which sounds strange. But
Yeah.
during the journey, if I can't do the journey with her, instantly
Yeah.
I've lost 90% of the fun. Instantly.
Okay.
It sounds stupid, but I'd rather do it with her as involved as possible. And if that costs me four placings than not having her
Yeah.
involved, then I would rather have that. I know that probably sounds bonkers to your average hardcore bodybuilder, but that's just where I'm at in my life with her.
I like that. I like that. Samson
Yeah.
Dowd is doing it with his wife. People were calling
Oh
him out
yeah,
on
yeah.
that. Like how?
I respect him a lot for that. I respect him so much
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
like the way they were almost taking the mick out of him. People were hinting at taking the mick out of him, and then he won. And
Yeah.
I was so happy for him. So, so happy.
Yes. No, it's amazing what they've been able to do, him and Marlena, and now you can't call it out anymore because it's working. She
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
they did,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
She
it's
should be
working.
coaching more people now.
Yes, she should, right? And so yeah, I like that approach and that mentality that you're like, you know what? We've come this far. She's been 24, 25 years in my life. She's been through everything. She knows me inside and out. Like she sees
Literally.
me every day. So she can see my body
Yeah,
change. She knows what
yeah.
manipulates it and changes it. So yeah, it makes sense. And so not like there's a lot to do. You just need to really diet down, obviously work on the lagging body parts, which you can. And then just, put like do you know like protocol for like the last few weeks before a show and like what you would like water manipulation? Do you know those
Those
things like
protocols is where,
diuretics?
yeah, yeah, those things are where we would need help. So obviously,
Okay.
every year I go on holiday, and we both diet for that holiday. I
Yeah.
will generally come in looking as if I'm about 6 weeks out for that holiday. There
Okay.
is a video somewhere on my Instagram of the last extreme cut I did, and then you'll see how much I've grown since then as well.
Yeah, I don't know where that. I thought I saw that somewhere.
It'll be around like August, September.
Oh, okay.
It will be yeah. So I usually cut that, but obviously that final sort of 5 weeks at the end, that's where we would need help because that would be new ground for both of us. Yeah, this
Okay.
was sort of
Okay.
post cut. This was back from
Okay.
holiday, smashing the calves again.
Yeah, look at the cods. Like it's there.
Yeah, they get
Look
very
at this.
feathered. Yeah, they get very feathered.
Yeah. 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 It's yeah. I mean, people will think you were a pro, right? They wouldn't even question it. They probably come up to you and be like, You're a pro. When you do your next pro show?" Like I'm sure people
It
do that all the
happens.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, when I
that's
went to
crazy. Look at
Benway
this.
last year, I was on holiday in Dubai, and I was
Yeah,
talking to loads of people, and they were like, "Oh, you doing the show?" I said, I just pointed and said, "No, I'm over there with my family," and my kids were like colouring in. I said, "I'm
yeah,
literally just on holiday. Not. I didn't even know there was a show actually."
yeah. It's crazy just in the next potential year. So I really want to see what you are dieted down. I mean, you're 260. I think you might be probably you might drop 15 pounds or so,
I think
right?
so.
You
Maybe more.
from
Maybe more.
maybe 20 pounds. Yeah. So you might be 230. Like you're 5'9", so I kind of think of like Tony Burton. He's kind of like the same height as you, and he competes in the 220s, right? And so
Mm.
227 on the Olympia, Tony Burton,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's, kind of the same weight and height as you.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's seventh at the Olympia. Should
Yeah.
tell you something, what you could potentially be doing. So I kind of compare you with him in a sense that your physique's the height and weight on stage would be probably similar to him. And like that's who you be, right? I mean, so like I look at your physique and I look at his, I'm like, you could stand next to him. I think you could hold next to him. Maybe in the back, obviously, I think he would. He's got
Yeah, he's more developed, much more developed.
his
Yeah,
back is, yeah. You can see here
yeah,
it's
it's
much
hanging.
wider. See,
Yeah,
that's where you start to
yeah.
see the difference in from the pro
That's it.
getting
That's
that
it. Yeah.
width. Yeah, yeah. So that's it. But I mean, I think there's so much potential there, as you obviously know, and besides that, I want to ask you quick before we wrap it up here. Um, you have hobbies, obviously the more the bike racing, but is there anything else you're into? Because I like to find out more like than just working out and bodybuilding. Look, what else are you into?
So I am a massive advocate of power parenting, and
What?
I'd probably get accused of being a pushy parent, but I'm
Oh,
as
okay, power
involved.
parenting. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I am. My kids spend all their time with me. If
Oh,
I have to
cool.
just nip
That's
out to
good.
the shops, they're coming. If I go out to like a bike event, they're coming. They come to the gym and see what I'm up to. They know everyone in the gym. And then obviously with their schoolwork, I spend a lot of time with them making sure they are understanding what's going on at school. Um,
Okay,
they both play football, well, soccer for my American cousins. They both play soccer.
cool.
My daughter actually played soccer in a boys' league and managed to get Player of the Year, which in her team, which as you
Yeah.
can imagine is very tough. And since gone on to play for an academy team. I think, well, I don't know what you would call an academy in America. Academy is like you're not pro because you're too young.
Oh, okay. So almost like college
Yeah, yeah. College, but
football. Yeah.
from a younger
Okay.
age. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm always training with them. I'm always training them because I used to play soccer myself, not at the level they play at, but
Yeah.
anywhere I can help them. Me and the wife are, all over them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. That's
so
awesome.
I spend a lot of time with her, and I spend a lot of time with them as well. Yeah, a lot of time.
That's good. Hey, this is a good
They
father.
ride
Like, yeah,
bikes as well. Yeah,
yeah, no, that's awesome. So you're really involved with your
yeah,
family man. So that's good.
yeah.
Doing what you're supposed to be doing as a dad. So that's awesome. You can't complain there. I want to talk a little bit about the Arnold Classic Ohio coming up, and I want to get your predictions on this. So we'll go to the Arnold here and get the guys so we know who we're talking about here. Right
Yeah.
there. Okay. So so you're a fan of bodybuilding. You're not just a guy that just works out and has a just genetically freaky looking physique. You actually are a fan of the sport as well. I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So your top five for the 2025 Arnold Classic Ohio. Who do you got? Put you on the spot.
Okay, so obviously, I have to go with my fellow UK bro, with Samson
Yes.
Dowda. I
Yeah.
think, Don't get me wrong, I don't want to be disrespectful to any of the other competitors, but I think he's going to win it, and not one person in the argument in the audience is going to argue about it. I don't think it's going
No.
to be close. Yeah,
No.
he just seems to be improving all the time. He's almost
Yeah.
getting like newbie gains. It doesn't make sense how you're this far
It is
in and
crazy.
making this much progress. Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know what his wife's doing over there. I would love her to have a meeting
Yeah.
with my wife so we can steal some
Yes.
information because something's
You
going on
should.
over there. Something is going on.
You should
It
reach
doesn't
out
make
to him. Yeah.
sense.
You.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But I've got Samson winning that. I've
Okay.
actually got Andrew Jacks coming in second.
Okay.
And on that note, I think going forwards, long term, that is going to
Yeah.
be the new rivalry. That's going to be you know, your sort of Ronnie J. And I think what's going to be
Yeah.
great about this is they're actually going to be quite close in the way they present, but still different. So like if you've got it where you've got a tall guy and a short guy, and
Yeah.
we end up arguing over our personal preference, whereas these will
Yes.
be close enough that you can have an educated argument over who you think. I don't think Andrew's there just yet. I think he's
Okay.
catching up. He will get there. But again,
Yeah.
Shane, he's improving all the time. I remember when Andrew Jack's on holiday. And my wife said to me, "Oh, Andrew Jacks is over there." And I said, "Oh, shut up. You're not funny." And he was standing there. And he's so friendly. He came over and spoke to me. But his chest is so big, you feel
Yeah.
claustrophobic. You
He does a crazy
you
chest.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it on the screen.
Yeah.
and it looks one way, but when you see it in person, it's different. It's different. But I think
Yeah.
those two are just gonna run away uh, with bodybuilding for the next few years. Once they get it cracked in, I don't think anyone's getting there. That's what I
Yeah.
think is going to happen. It'll be a tool mind
Because
game for
there's,
a while.
I think so. And because they're not like, Samson's 38, I think Andrew is around that age too. So they have a
Yeah,
good 5 solid years of competing left. So
yeah,
that,
at least,
yeah,
at least, yeah, and they're
yeah.
still
And that,
improving. Yeah, they're not up and
yes.
down. They are improving each way. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, Samson is,
um,
is finally tuning into his physique. It's getting more mature. It's
yeah,
getting better condition.
yeah,
Andrew has had some slip ups. He looked really great at the Texas Pro 2024. Didn't look so great on the Olympia. That's been his Achilles heel, not
yeah,
peaking for the Olympia. So even with that being said, he still's top five every time. So the fact that is
yeah,
if he can nail it for the Olympia, I agree with you. That would be
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
matchup everyone wants to see. The two Nigerians
yeah.
going at it.
Yeah, yeah, oh
So
yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm discussing it as if everybody turns up on their best day, in
yeah,
birthday mode. That's the way I'm discussing it. And I think if those
yeah,
two turn up, you've got your easy one, two. Those two just walk
yeah,
off into the sunset and continue their argument elsewhere. In third, I've got Derek.
okay,
I really like Derek as well. I like the way his physique is. But what I will say is, I think I think Carlos Thomas Jr. is going to come fourth. And
okay,
for me personally, I think that's the matchup because, I'm not saying like Andrew versus Sampson is like, I'm not bothered about it. I'm extremely excited
yeah,
about it. But Carlos Derek, for me, it's like watching a UFC night and it's the undercard fight you're really excited about because, you know the way the main fight's going to end up. So yeah, I
yeah,
think Derek will get the third and I think Carlos
yeah,
will be just behind. But I think it'll be closer than what people think. I think
okay,
where Derek is an ex Mr. Olympia, you
yeah,
kind of get that automatic favour. But I think Carlos, I saw his recent update, his legs were looking a bit more etched. And if
yes,
that gets even just 0.5% week on week, it could be interesting.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I got for
This
third and fourth. And then
okay,
for fifth, I'm gonna have to go with Curry for fifth.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Curry for fifth.
That's a good top five prediction. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, Carlos. I'm kind of like Deshaun Clarita's in there, and then obviously Curry. Akeem Williams. You can't sleep on Akeem Williams. I have a video coming out on that
Yeah,
today, featuring Akeem
yeah,
Williams. He's like he's a big dude. He's almost the
yeah,
size of Samson. So
yeah,
we're gonna see how Carlos stacks up to those guys because he hasn't been against those guys before.
that's right. That's right.
The
Yeah,
Currys and even like Clary or Bonac. So people are talking a lot of hype about Carlos Thomas Jr. and I get it, but he's just not as refined as these other seasoned veterans that have been doing this for
yeah,
so long, and they know how to peak for the show.
yeah,
He's working with Patrick, so a great coach. So maybe they're gonna dial it in this time, but. Yeah, I like that matchup because Derek and Carlos have the same structure. They almost look like they have
yeah,
the same physiques,
yeah,
the flaring lats and quads and everything. So yeah, I could see that matchup
yeah,
being if the judges do that in the first call out, it'd be great to
yeah,
see Derek next to
yeah.
Carlos for sure.
I think if
Yeah.
Carlos had Derek's conditioning,
Yeah.
then I think
Oh,
it's game over. Yeah,
over. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So in that
100.
respect, I always feel like Carlos has so much more to give.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I
Agreed
mean,
with
I'm
that
not saying
assessment.
Derek has peaked, not by a long shot. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
but I feel like with Derek, sorry, I feel like with Carlos, have we even seen 30%, 40% of what is possible?
No, he's young too, and he's got some
Yeah,
health issues. That's the other factor is that he's
yeah,
got the health issues. So
yeah.
when he
When he gets
pushes
there,
himself,
yeah,
yeah, he starts to kind of break down, and so who
yeah. He looks
knows
happy so
what is?
far, though. He looks happy so far.
Yes, yeah. So he looks like things are working. He's healthy. If he can stay healthy, he can do very well. But if not, he may have some issues here, and that's where you have the veterans that are consistent. I always go with consistency.
Yeah,
and guys that have been around the block, they know how to peak. They've done this before. And against these new guys that are coming up, they're not there
yeah,
yet. They look great, but they just don't have
yeah,
everything down yet. So that's kind of when I do my predictions. I bring that factor into play. But you got John De La Rosa. You can't. I mean, there's it's going to be a tight lineup here. Very
yeah.
competitive, top five,
Also,
top
James
six.
Collins says he's made some big improvements.
Yes, yeah. Oh, Holling said yes, yes. Yeah, he people are having him in the top five. I've seen some predictions having him in the top five. I'm like,
Yeah,
these are some genetic freaks that are in this top lineup here with these, you know. So Brandon Curry too. I don't know if I could see Hollingshead beat out Brandon Curry or even maybe a Bonac.
yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see with that. Going to be a great show. Have
It
you
is. It
seen pro
is.
shows? Yeah, you've been to pro shows. Like, have you been to pro shows or
No,
watched pro shows?
I've never been to a bodybuilding show at all.
Wow. Okay.
I had only been to an
Wow.
expo early this year because a friend of
Yeah.
mine who owns Mental Strength Clothing, he just released
Yeah.
a brand and he said to me, "Come and join me. It'll be loads of fun. Come and be on the stand." And I had an absolute great time. But before then, I had never even been to an expo.
Wow. Just the expo you've been.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw you were at the expo there.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, you go to a pro
Kind of been living
show
on the
if you
outside.
can. Yeah. So I know the UK. I don't know if the Arnold UK is it hasn't been announced. So I don't know if that's even
I
happening.
don't
But
think
if it
there's
is,
meant to be one for this year. I'm not sure why that's
that's
happened, but I
that's
hear
weird.
last year was
Yeah.
very successful. The numbers were great, but I'm not sure there's going to be one for this year.
Okay. Okay. Who would be your all-time favorite British, bodybuilder from the UK? That
Oh, okay. So obviously it's Story Yates,
yeah.
but I think over the next few years, Samson Dowd is going to change history.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hard on Samson in the past years because he just could never get his conditioning. I always said once he gets his conditioning right, he's going to be a multi-time Mr. Olympia. He's finally
Yeah,
getting his conditioning right. It looks like if he can maintain this and not get injured and stay healthy, he can be a multi-time Mr. Olympia. I don't think there's
yeah,
anyone really close to his structure and his size and his symmetry and
yeah,
ever his posing. So I think you're right on that. He can hold it for a
yeah,
bit. Steve Weinberger, the head judge of the Mr. Olympia, said, "I don't see anyone being a reigning Mr. Olympia anymore, or like a multi-time Mr. Olympia anymore.
yeah,
He thinks it's going to
yeah,
switch back and forth. So who knows? We're going to see
yeah.
what the agenda is there.
I think
Uh,
when you talk about the Mr. Olympia as
yeah,
a title, I like that Samson's had it because of what he represents. That
yeah,
is quite important to me, because
yeah,
what I like about bodybuilding is the politics. That probably sounds weird.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
look at something like sport, for example, because it's all done on paper, it's all done on stats, and the stats can never lie. You could have
yeah,
a player that receives, Player of the Year or Player of Europe, Player of America,
hmm
whatever, who is a
yeah,
douchebag, for example. But what I like about
yeah.
the Olympia is we don't have that danger. You might look a certain way, but if you're a douchebag or you've
We don't know.
participated in things that aren't very Christian, aren't very proper,
Yeah,
then you're never going to win.
yeah,
Despite no one cares that you look great. So I like that.
yeah,
If Samson does win it for the next say 2, 3, 4 years, I think he's a good
yeah.
advocate of the Mr. Olympia.
Oh, definitely, definitely. He's a great guy,
Yeah,
and he's completely involved in the industry. He's opening up a gym. He's committed to it. So
yeah,
yeah, he's well spoken and he's humble and yeah, a great advocate for the sport. I totally agree with that. So would love to
yeah.
see Samson get another Olympia win this year, 2025, and hold it. And because I like to see the reigning. I like when Ronnie was winning it every year and Phil was
Oh
winning it every year
yeah,
and Jay
yeah.
was.
I like the
I
dynasties.
miss
Yeah,
those days. Yeah, yeah. It's just
yeah,
you get used to that and you become a fan of that and you want to see it happen again and then they lose it and it's like okay now it's the new Mr. Olympia again and it's just like
yeah.
you want to see that Mr. Olympia that's so good and so dominant they just no one can beat them for a couple of years.
It's
And
undeniable.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right. So we'll wrap it up. One off the cuff question: if you could recommend one movie for our viewers to watch, which movie would that be?
Terminator 1.
Terminator One. Okay,
We'll
good.
watch it.
So quick. Terminator One. Yes, I agree. Great movie, epic movie. So can't deny
Yeah.
that. Um, a shout out to any sponsors, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we wrap it up here.
Oh, obviously, first major shout out goes out to my wife. She's listening
Yes.
upstairs, but I have to shout her out. Just
Yeah.
thanks for everything. Um, if you look at my Instagram today, I come across a certain way. I enjoy a certain lifestyle. When
Yeah.
she met me, I had absolutely none of that, not even this much of that. So she was there
Yeah.
from day one, and I
Yeah.
have to, I have to clap that. I have to because that's loyalty on another. It's not easy to keep pretty women, so so I have to say thanks for that straight away. Also,
Yeah.
big shout out to my mate Wedge. Um, I remember he bumped into me. I was moving house, and I
Mhm.
didn't look like a bodybuilder at the time. I was skinny fat, and I was moving house, and he saw me with my face in through a window of a storage company, and he said, "They're closed. What are you doing?" I said, "I need some boxes," and he says, "Come with me. I've got a supplement shop, and I've got loads of boxes that I need to get rid of." So he helped me for
Yeah.
no reason. I then said to him,
Yeah.
"Oh, I used to be a bodybuilder." I think he thought I was bullshitting because I was obviously skinny fat. And then
Yeah.
he's helped me out throughout. Also got a shout out to Nudge, again very helpful. Um, Everyone at Body Factory Gym, everyone
Yeah.
at what's the word? My other gym that I go to, I forgot the blooming name now.
Mm.
Monster Gym.
That's trim. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
everyone's been so
Awesome.
supportive. Yeah,
Well, that's great. Well, you know what? I'm glad you came on and get a different perspective and maybe ask a few different questions here and there for you and for the fans to kind of find out more about you and see what the future holds for you because you got a huge fan base now and they really are supporting you and they're pushing you to compete and I know you said you're going to do it, so we're all looking forward to that time coming and keep it up, keep posting those reels, keep showing us the physique and your journey is your train. I think what people are going to want to start seeing more of is your training and more like in-depth
yeah.
training. The posing
Oh
is
yeah,
great. Now everyone's seen that. Now they want to see the other side. They want to go deeper
yeah,
in there and find out more. And I
yeah,
think the training and then see you practicing your posing, seeing that you're serious about it, seeing more of the diet side of things. There's lots you can now capitalize on that people are going to want to start finding out more about you because now that you got them
yes,
hooked. Yeah,
yeah,
that's just my mark. I'm such into marketing that when I that's why I try and give people that advice. Like this is the next
yeah,
phase of like where you can build off of what you've started.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
hopefully you take that and run with it. So
yeah.
man, I
I mean,
appreciate you coming
yeah,
on.
that's definitely got to happen. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to have you on again after you do your first show. I'm going to hold you to it. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
having me.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up there. We will catch you on the next one. Peace. See you guys.